Thank you for tuning in to my channel today. I'm happy you're here. I'm Sandy, and today we're going to draw a Stargazer Lily. If you're able to have the flower in person, it's really helpful to hold it and take a look at it before you start drawing. When we draw flowers, we want to start with the center because all of the lines of the filament are uninterrupted, and the lines of the petals come behind the center filaments. Noticing details like this adds to the realism of your rendering. We can also look at the bud of this flower. Look at the different shapes of the petal that haven't opened yet. Look at how it attaches to the stem. So today, we'll draw a Stargazer Lily. For supplies, I'm using a Plumchester 4, a Plumchester 1.5 brush pen, and a .02 micron pen. You can use any pens that you like. A link to the supplies that I've used is in the description. I've already made the pencil drawing to save time, but I will draw the pen over it in the order that I drew the pencil lines. You can download a template of this flower on my website if you'd like to trace it. There's a direct link in the description below. I'm using cardstock paper. You can use any paper that you like. If you're going to add color to it, keep that in mind for your paper choice. You can leave this as a line drawing. You can color it with marker or colored pencil, or watercolor over it since the pens are permanent ink. I'm going to color it with colored pencils later. As you're drawing each element, wiggle the pen a little bit. It makes it look more realistic than having perfectly smooth lines. When I first started drawing and painting, I traced the objects with pencil onto my surface. It was hard for me to focus on learning everything at once. Learning to draw and learning to paint at the same time was a lot for me. I had a really difficult time with perspective, and so if I was trying to draw it first, I ended up getting really frustrated and never painting it. So I decided I'm going to trace it so that I have the perspective right, and then worry about the color and the shapes that appeared. So I would look at how did the light hit the surface? Where are the shadows? By observing these things, I would know how to replicate the shape of the object. With pen and ink, you have the option to leave it flat looking or to add shading with lines. Since I'm going to color this later, I'm not going to add too much line detail. Typically, I use a smaller pen to add details and shading. Your drawing doesn't have to look like mine. As a matter of fact, it probably won't. It will be uniquely yours with your style, and that's ultimately what you're going for. If you're new to drawing, you won't have developed a style yet, but if you keep at it, you soon will. I have a box for each medium that I have learned with all of the failed attempts. Sometimes when I think I haven't progressed at all, I take the box out and look at my first attempts. I usually end up laughing really hard because they look quite odd. Some are really hideous, but don't throw away any of your pieces. Keep them because they will show you where you were and where you are now. It's really encouraging. When using the brush pen, start with very light pressure on the line you've previously drawn, and then press down as you move along the paper. If possible, also try to wiggle the brush. Don't worry if all of this isn't happening at the same time for you. Over time, you will get better. Sometimes I have to draw something 3 or 4 times to get it to look like what I want. The important thing is that you keep trying. Drawing flowers can be very meditative and calming to the mind because often there is a repetition of an element. With this flower, it's the dots. While drawing the dots, don't think too much. Just enjoy the flow of the pen on the paper. When I first started painting, I just loved looking at the tip of the brush and watching the paper soak up the paint. And, obviously, if I'm looking at that, the drawing wasn't really coming out that great. But I enjoyed it, I had fun, and I kept going. When you're done, erase all the pencil lines and be sure to add your signature. I hope you enjoyed our time together. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below and follow me on Instagram. Have a wonderful day.